Look for the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife. I mean the bare necessities are mother.
It's 5:30. I haven't been up this early for about 8 months. We just left Discovery Harbour Marina. It's actually a really nice morning. It's calm. And we're heading towards Seymour Narrows, where it is slack at 7:27 this morning. The X marks Seymour Narrows and where Ripple Rock used to be. Two hours past slack and we're screaming along at 10 knots. First stop, Port Neville. What makes everything better when nothing works? Homemade. Swedish meatballs and gravy. It
was going to be salad, but it's too frickin' cold.
It was going to be salad. And the dishes will wait until tomorrow. Yum, yum, yum. This is when you ask us where we are, what we're doing, and how day one went. So day one was wonderful. For the first 6 hours, we were screaming along with the current, doing almost, actually at one point we got up to 11.2 knots, which was pretty amazing. Got all the way here to Port Neville. It is pouring rain, at which point we decided we were going to stop and call it a day because we'd been on the road, so to speak, for quite a few hours and up early at 10 to 5. And we're sitting here wrapped in blankets because this little thing, baby, is our furnace switch. And the furnace worked beautifully all winter long, tied up at the dock, didn't it, Ian?
It did.
And now it won't start. Like I said, there's always an adventure, and we are so cold. We're drinking so much tea right now. It just won't fire. So Ian just turned it off. Do you have anything to add?
Yeah. It's one of those wonderful projects. The furnace packed it in back last summer. So It's a project I was bound and determined to fix myself, which I did, buying parts from S-Bar, and it ran great. We fixed it. It ran fantastic. At the dock, when it was nice and cold through the winter, we'd go down there. We had electric heater going, which was just extra heat. Walk in, flash the furnace on right away, flashed up, ran great. So today, after we got up here where everything is soaking wet, we're so looked forward to turning the furnace on and playing crib. Nothing. So now we're just in survival mode. Drink tea, make hot food, go to bed, repeat. So I'm not working on this thing because where I have to work on it to tear it apart again is outside, and I don't feel like getting wet and colder. But at least now I know what to do to fix it again, or hopefully I do. And we have a lot of spare parts for it, which I ordered. We'll see how that goes.
Well, this is the next morning in Port Neville. It was too cold, wet, windy to get out last night and come up and take some footage. Really is a very pretty spot. A couple of houses over there. This is something you don't see very often. There are only sailboats at the dock. Ha! And one sailboat just left, actually. Anyway, this is Port Neville. And that's the old post office right there. So we're going to go up and take a look. So that's the post office. It was established in 1895, and then it was closed in 2010 as family members passed away. It's just a very pretty grounds in here. That little rancher there was built as a schoolhouse many years ago.
Quick blurb before we get to the next piece of our video. Last summer, August, we were down in Victoria with the boat anchored or tied up in front of the Empress Hotel, and our great experience was having our dinghy stolen, our dinghy and outboard right from the boat. So that had to be replaced before we went on this trip, and of course we have insurance. We make an insurance claim. They give us money to replace the dinghy, about half of what the dinghy was worth, and this should be preempted with an adult warning, whatever. But the piece of shit that stole our dinghy didn't even use it for anything. He destroyed it for no reason. They recovered it. We'll have a picture of that, painted purple and just trashed for no reason. So yes, we get a new dinghy, but everything's a compromise. So we had to compromise on what the insurance company would pay us to replace it, what we felt we needed for the boat, and nothing's ever the same. So the next little bit of video is making those adjustments so we can attach the new dinghy to the boat.
So you'll see from the next video clips that this new dinghy is quite different than the old one that we had, and it was a very deliberate decision to change what we had. So we used to have a hard bottom V dinghy that was pretty heavy, and we only have a 5-horse outboard on it, so you could never get it on the plane. I could get it on the plane if I was in the dinghy by myself, and I think you could too, but with two of us it was just impossible. And no comment. And so this one, we said, why not get something that's lighter, We don't need a V-bottom, you know, we're not, we don't travel any great distances in the dinghy, we just want something to be able to putz around in. So we got a flat bottom dinghy. It's quite a bit wider than the old one, and I think it's a little bit longer too, isn't it? Like slightly longer. So anyway, you'll see that Ian had to change all the hardware on it, but this one, you can get up on the plane really quickly. Actually, it's quite scary, and hopefully it'll be a better choice, and there's certainly less weight hanging on the back of the boat.
Well, let's just show you what we had to do.
So the new addition after our dinghy was stolen last year, just dragging this thing out. They're a pain in the ass when they're not inflated. They're really hard to handle. Anyway, we'll blow it up. Then the work begins. Just because the other one was stolen, they bought us a new one. Now it means we have to change all the hardware on the boat and see if it fits on the davits properly. Okay, we're getting there. It's halfway blown up. I actually think we may go and invest in an electric pump today. They're all $20. Anyway, puffing away halfway there. So the first good sign is it floats. That's a good one. And right away you have to change that flimsy little line they have on there from the bow, and a few other little odds and ends. So now let's get the davit set up and see if we can make this sucker fit. Okay, it's not going to be an easy fix. We had to break out some tools and some bits and pieces. I got to put a couple of new shackles on for hoisting up on the davits, so it means drilling a couple holes in a brand new dinghy, which I hate to do. Apparently they say you should always drill them on the top of the boat, not the bottom, so we'll start with that, and everything else will come off YouTube. One in, holes drilled, and then like I say, nothing's easy because I'm sitting in the water now. Got to clean everything all up. Lots of sawdust, but we're making progress. Then it's just change these fittings. That one appears to be okay and strong enough. It's glued in, but we're hoping it doesn't rub, which is another thing we have to look at when we get this thing all put together. So we just keep doing these little clips. One more step. Both of them are on there. Now we just have to see they're connected, which is good. Now I'll have to pull it up because I need an extra hand here. So it sits on the top. So here's the finished product. The dinghy's on the davits, on the back of the boat, and it fits okay. A couple little adjustments we're gonna have to make along the way to stop it from rubbing or chafing anywhere, because it does fit a little different on the davits. There's a little foam piece in there right now, which we'll change with proper rubber cushioning. But overall, it works. Our little 5-horse Merc on the back, and so one more problem solved. Still can't tell you how pissed off I get every time I think about somebody taking the dinghy from the boat. Yeah.
And last, here's a tour of our 2-bed, 1-bath floating home.
necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife. I mean the bare necessities are Mother Nature's recipes that bring the bare necessities.